And so I finally got an opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I want to, so this is great. So we're going to continue the story, and I want to, now for the rest of the story, I want to hear the rest of the story, but I want to go along a little bit, and touch base with, as you're going through this and as you reflect, is there a couple of lessons that stand out? So first off, did you force the river in terms of, you realize it wasn't for you, but you kept doing it anyways, and that took you a while to figure out. And you realized that you were chasing money as opposed to a model or maybe an ideology of what you wanted to deliver in terms of value. But I don't want to put words in your mouth. Was there some lessons in hindsight that you really got that caused, the grief and the challenges that you faced? Where were you in that process when you think about it, when you think back? What did you learn?
Well, I learned a lot. I mean, but all I could think of was that there's got to be easier ways to make money, right? There has to be an easier way to make money. And this is crazy. And you know what? It was good because I realized that, like, even though I can do it, doesn't mean I should do it, right? Because I can, if I set my mind to it, I can do anything. I've been in every business. I've tried everything. I've failed at lots of things. I've pulled the plugs on things that were successful. Like, I've done all kinds of stuff. But like, when you can't sleep and all you think about is like, how do I get out of this? Like, that's a great indicator for you to get out of it. The problem with this is that the cash flow is crazy. And when you have a good brand and you do good work, people are begging you to do the work for you. And so it's hard to say no to money, right? It's really hard to say no to money. And so you get kind of caught up in that. And so, yes, I definitely got stuck in that for way longer than like was healthy. And I mean, I have lots of days where I'm like, if I just did it like this, it would have been really good. Like if I just did it like me and an assistant in the car and I just took on a few jobs, like it would have been really good. But like there was something in me always. Like my mom even said, like when I was little, I would tell her that I was going to like go to work in a suit and be this successful developer, right? Like I'd always play with Lego and I'd just always be building stuff and always organizing shit with people. Like I was just like this. And so what it turns out that I'm good at is just like putting the puzzle together, right? Just putting the puzzle together, whatever the puzzle is. But like real estate development makes me excited. I want to talk about it. I want to have a podcast. I want to talk to anybody about real estate all the time. And I don't know where that came from because I don't come from real estate. Like my parents lived in the same house the entire time that I was alive, right? Like I don't know from real estate. Even my wife's family doesn't really, they own some real estate, but not this development stuff. I worked in the lumber yard. I caught this bug. If I walk in New York, like I'm in heaven. I could walk for 30 days in a row without like even eating. Like I just love buildings. And so it just became like this, when I look at it in hindsight, like all the little things I did along the way made me capable of doing what I do now. And I was even talking to my son the other day. He's like, Dad, I want to do what you do. And I said, cool, like go for it. But it might look like it's easy, but it took 30 years to make it look easy, right? Because now I get it, right? I had to screw up and like I dug a bigger hole trying to dig out of the hole, right? Like I screwed up so many times that like now I'm a friggin' genius.
Of course, yes.
Right?
It was I totally get it. I love
I beat it into myself.
there's some interesting stuff around all this, Daryl, which is the character that gets developed and evolves in continually facing and overcoming adversities, even if they're self-imposed. And I mean, a lot of adversities in business aren't self-imposed; they're just what show up because, and you happen to be at the effect of what's going on in the world, and you have to figure shit out. But in your case, and although you had that as well, because everybody does, a lot of the adversity that you faced was self-imposed because you took on more than you could take on. You stepped into a world that you weren't familiar with. You didn't have some of the talents that you thought you had and or needed to do what you said you were going to do. So but
It
the
came
thing
down
is
to
around
one
all of
thing,
it is
though.
that you overcame.
One.
Sorry, go ahead.
It ended up coming down to one thing with all that you're saying, because if the timing was right, none of that mattered, right?
Of
Idiots
course,
can make money in an up market, right? Anybody could buy
we know that.
something, do something on it, and sell it for more in an up market, right? We see that everywhere.